In Super Mario Odyssey, you visit lots of exciting kingdoms in an aircraft called the Odyssey. Mario can also use his new friend Cappy to defeat enemies, capture them, collect coins, and jump to new heights. Each kingdom has a unique theme, and you explore with the goal of gathering power moons to fuel the Odyssey. The lively kingdoms and their often upbeat soundtracks foster an enjoyable, family-friendly gaming experience. Hades tells an engaging story, and there are multiple routes that you can take as Zagreus, Hades' son and the prince of the underworld. From Zeus to Achilles, the characters are all based on Greek mythology. Some are even romanceable. The gods respond uniquely depending on the path you are on, welcoming multiple playthroughs of the game. Along with ample dialogue and a beautiful indie art style from a top-down perspective, the roguelike gameplay incorporates hack-and-slash combat and dungeon crawling as you try to escape the underworld. In between dungeon runs, you can relax by petting Cerberus, Hades' three-headed dog. Metroid Dread is a side-scrolling game where you explore as Samus Aran, a cosmic bounty hunter. The setting of planet ZDR is filled with weapons, items, and upgrades. You can use your phantom cloak to hide from enemy machines called the EMI, who will attack if they detect you. It can be difficult to master the stealth aspect, but once you do, exploring and reaching the boss fights will go by much more smoothly. The map and combination of stealth, combat, and abilities work to create an entertaining, challenging action-adventure game set in space. Persona 5 Royal updates the original Persona 5 and introduces brand new animation and gameplay with an unlockable third semester and the characters Kasumi Yoshizawa and Kaoto Maruki. In this JRPG, you play as a high school student who has moved to Tokyo after being falsely accused of assault and subsequently expelled from his last school. As the protagonist, you awaken the power to change people's hearts and make them confess their crimes through combat in an alternate realm known as the Metaverse. Back in the real world, you study for exams, make friends, and maybe work a part-time job or two. Persona 5 Royal has an average main story playthrough time of 101 hours, so you might go offline for weeks as you exercise, do laundry, play video games, and read a good book, all in the game, of course. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was Nintendo's 5-year-long passion project. The game debuted on the same day as the Switch, making the two inseparable. The creators of Zelda finally gave Switch-owning players an open world to traverse. With endless freedom and new abilities for Link, the sequel Tears of the Kingdom is just as good, or perhaps even better than, its predecessor. Both action-adventure games, however, encourage you to be creative, solve puzzles, and independently explore at your own pace. The Switch has added many games to its library, but aside from Tears of the Kingdom, no other single-player game initially launched on the platform has rivaled Breath of the Wild. Though Xenoblade Chronicles 3 features a brand new cast of characters and an open world to explore, it builds on the real-time combat system and universe origin stories from the first two games. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 shines in its party system and extensive narrative. The main story follows 6 main characters, though there are plenty more to meet along the way, and takes place in a sci-fi fantasy setting that is easy to become immersed in. Your party is highly customizable, as you can swap between classes and skills to create a playstyle that works for you.
Enemy's broken away from me. It's all coming together.
Team Cherry's Hollow Knight is one of the best Metroidvanias in recent years. Playing as the Knight, you arrive in Hallownest, a once thriving kingdom now devastated by the infection, leaving the majority of its inhabitants as husks of what they once were. Though desolate, Hallownest is hauntingly beautiful and full of hidden secrets and challenging platforming sections. The bosses are also notoriously difficult, surprisingly so for a game that looks so charming. Christopher Larkin's masterful score throughout the game is just the cherry on top. Fire Emblem Three Houses is a tactical RPG with turn-based combat and relationship building. Three Houses greatly expands on the social simulation elements from the previous titles with a cast of dynamic characters. You play as a mercenary-turned-professor, and you can invite your students to tea and bond with them, in the downtime from battles, that is. At the start of the game, you pick a class with students from one of the 3 nations in power. This choice affects how you experience the story and the characters you start with. In every route, the game balances story-focused battles with RPG elements and social simulation, and you'll likely want to replay multiple times to experience each one.
Should I have held back?
I'm on it. So obvious.
Octopath Traveler 2 uses the signature HD2D art style of its predecessor and is a stunning game on the Switch. The 2D graphics highlight the beautiful and mesmerizing details of its environments, including falling snow and sunlight. It improves upon the first game, Octopath Traveler. Both are JRPGs with excellent traditional turn-based battle systems, but the sequel improves upon the first game's towns and storytelling. Thankfully, this is a standalone title, so you can dive right in without having played the first. As the title suggests, there are 8 distinct character stories with a few crossed paths. The game limits you to a 4-party system, but you can customize the party composition and the members' equipment and abilities to your liking.
Now then, pierce them, wings of frost.
Pokemon Legends Arceus is one of the best Pokemon games to date. It has the classic components of the mainline series, battling, capturing Pokemon, and exploring the world. At the same time, Arceus diverges from prior titles with its sizable map divided into areas called biomes and the Pokédex, which functions as a compendium recording the different Pokemon species you come across. Other open-world games on the Switch surpass Arceus in terms of graphics and playability, but the Pokemon animations and freedom to roam make Arceus worth playing.